Welcome to the Further Light Podcast, presented by Wisconsin Freemasonry, helping you accomplish your Masonic goals through education and more light. And now, I present to you, Brother Chris Ludke.
Listeners, scholars, brothers, this is Brother Chris Ludke, and today I want to explore how to apply the working tools. Now, I've kind of touched on this in the past. We've talked about, for example, the use of self-reflection, or how Masonic education is going to be important to learning how to apply the working tools. I want to dig into this a little bit further. In Freemasonry, few aspects are as essential or enduring as the working tools. Presented to every initiate in the craft, these symbolic instruments form the backbone of Masonic instruction and spiritual development. But beyond the lectures, how does one use the working tools? How can a Freemason take these metaphors for labor and virtue and apply them in a meaningful everyday life? This essay, I'm working from the new Working Tools book, which is available on the Square store. This essay explores the origin and evolution of the working tools within Freemasonry, defines their symbolic significance, and most importantly, illustrates practical ways in which these tools can guide a Mason's journey towards self-improvement, ethical living, and spiritual growth. So let's quickly define the working tools. The working tools in Freemasonry are symbolic instruments, in this case, once used by operative stonemasons, people who built cathedrals and monuments of the past. In speculative masonry, these tools no longer serve a physical craft, but are instead employed to teach moral lessons and ethical habits. Each degree of masonry, the entered apprentice, fellowcraft, and master mason, introduces a unique set of tools. Among them are the 24-inch gauge, the common gavel, the plumb, level, square, compasses, and the trowel. Every tool represents a virtue or discipline. Collectively, they offer a philosophical toolkit for the self-aware, morally inclined builder, the speculative mason. So, how do we begin to apply them? Understanding the symbolic meaning of each tool is just the beginning. The deeper task is integrating those meanings into daily life. This transformation from symbol to habit is where Freemasonry proves its worth as a living tradition. Now, we've dealt with most, if not all, of the working tools over the last couple of seasons on the podcast, but as a reminder, the 24-inch gauge reminds Masons to divide the day wisely. In practice, it's a call to balance, a prompt to examine time management, prioritize personal health, and contribute to the community. The common gavel is used to break off vices and superfluities. Applied practically, it means identifying harmful habits, anger, pride, laziness, and replacing them with constructive actions. The plumb teaches uprightness and action. It is a call to integrity, urging Masons to walk upright before man and God, in private life as well as public. The level stands for equality and reminds us that no matter one's social station, all Masons must meet on the level. This tool finds life in the way we treat others with humility, respect, and fairness. The square demands morality and justice. It's about aligning one's actions with principles. In decisions big and small, a Mason is called to ask, is this square with my conscience? Or in a larger sense, as we talked about in the episode on the square, is this square with my moral guide, which is the volume of sacred law? The compasses draw boundaries around behavior, teaching restraint and moderation. They help regulate passion, protect relationships, and preserve inner peace. The trowel symbolizes spreading the cement of brotherly love and affection. In practice, is a tool of unity, urging us to foster harmony in our homes, lodges, and communities. So as we use these tools, what we need to do is have a way to put them to practical use. So it's one thing to know about the tool, it's another to use it. The key to applying these tools is not found only in ceremony or repetition of their meaning, but in the deliberate act of self-reflection. The lessons of the working tools come alive when Masons examine their daily actions in the light of these symbols. Self-reflection is the bridge between theory and transformation. It is in moments of quiet review at the end of a long day or during morning contemplation, over that cup of coffee, for example, that we assess how we have applied the gauge, the plumb, the compasses. Did we allocate our time with purpose? Did we speak with honesty and restraint? Were we just, fair, and kind in our dealings? And that reflection is important because in the moment, in the heat of the moment, it is unlikely that we're going to sit there and go, wait a minute, what does the square say? Because we may not even look for the working tools. It's only in self-reflection where that happens. And that's where the growth happens. After that moment has passed, so that the next time it happens, you can go, you know what? This could be different if I applied these tools. Each day brings new opportunities to reflect, to recognize where we fell short, and to prepare for a better response in the future. Through this reflective process, the working tools are not merely reminders of an ideal, they become instruments of change. They help us measure where we stand, chisel away what hinders us, and reinforce what supports the structure of the character we are building. In this way, Freemasonry does not ask for perfection, but merely for progress. The working tools are applied not only in action, but also in reflection, where we refine our behavior and intention so that when the same challenge arises again, we can respond with greater clarity, discipline, and grace. Now, the tools also give us psychological lessons. The compass, for example, is a symbol of self-regulation, the ability to draw moral boundaries, say no when needed, and maintain focus in a distracted world. Modern psychology values these very traits under the umbrella of executive function and emotional intelligence. Likewise, the 24-inch gauge encourages time management and self-care, both key to personal effectiveness and well-being. By practicing the virtues symbolized by these tools daily, the Mason develops not only moral strength, but emotional resilience. These tools are not just metaphors, they're mirrors for the mindful person. The tools also do more than shape individual character. They shape the collective life of the lodge. A lodge that honors the trowel, for example, will be marked by unity, fraternal affection, not infection, that'd be horrible, and patient reconciliation. A lodge that values the level will strive to treat every brother with equality, regardless of background or title. When the square governs our meetings, fairness and justice become hallmarks of discussion. These tools are not just ethical instruments, they're architectural principles for building a harmonious lodge culture. One decision, one interaction, and one meeting at a time. To draw this together, the working tools of Freemasonry are not artifacts of a bygone age. They're instruments of transformation, just as relevant today as they were in the cathedrals of old. But they do not work on their own. A tool, after all, is only as effective as the hand that wields it and the heart that guides that hand. To use the working tools is to engage in lifelong labor of self-improvement, is to chisel away at ignorance and indifference, to build up virtues brick by brick, to measure time, intention, and behavior with clarity and care. When joined with self-reflection, the working tools become the instruments not only of moral architecture, but of spiritual alchemy. In reflection, we see what is raw and unfinished. In application, we begin again, stronger and more skillful than before. And in this ongoing process, the Mason becomes not just a builder of stone or symbol, but of soul. As Masons, we are not asked to carry these tools for show, but to use them for building better selves, better lodges, and a better world. Their symbolism is rich, but their power is practical. Let us each take up our tools, not only in Lodge, but in life. Let us square our actions, level our judgment, plumb our motives, and gavel away our faults. Let us use the trowel to bind, the compasses to govern, and the gauge to balance. For in doing so, we are not merely learning Masonry, we are living it. And that, in the end, is the true work of the craft. Thank you for joining me, Brother Chris Licky, and the entire Further Light team on your quest to find more light through Masonry.
Are you interested in learning more about Freemasonry in Wisconsin? Visit wisconsinmasons.org to learn more about Masonry and access further educational content and more light. Once again, that address is wimasons.org. Any questions, comments, or suggestions, please email us at education@wisconsinmasons.org. And thank you for listening.